Hello, Dr. Benedict. I'm Carlos.
And Crystal, hi, Dr. Benedict.
The first article we're going to talk to you about is called "Why Don't You Make Eye Contact When You're Talking?"
Carlos, what are your thoughts on what the title means in this article?
Well, before I read the article, I'm assuming that it has to do with talking about students that with autism that don't make eye contact. Like medically. But I actually, reading it, it's actually from a student's point of view, or not students, from a person with autism's point of view on how they see and take in conversation, and what they do when they're actually not looking at you directly. It does not mean that they're not listening. It just means that they're aware of all the surroundings. They're taking all that in at once. And I think it was a great article.
How do you think socially in our society this might affect children with autism since they have, since they can't always make eye contact? How do you think they deal with this?
How they deal with it? Yeah. Um, I think. Well, I don't know. My opinion is that they always assume that they're not they're not being treated fairly. That they're automatically judged. Like, oh, you're not looking at me, you're not paying attention to me, so all the whole class time, let's say, for example, is spent trying to get their attention rather than actually just talking about the subject matter or teaching them. So I have a question for you, Crystal. There's a sentence here that really caught my eye. I want to know what you thought about it. The sentence is, "What's bothered me for a long time is this idea that people have so long." Wait, sorry. What's bothered me for so What's bothered me for a long time is this idea that people have that so long as we're keeping eye contact while they're talking to us, that alone means we're taking in every word.
Maybe just the fact that just because I'm looking at you and maybe make it seem as though I'm engaged in what you're saying doesn't necessarily mean I'm paying attention to every word you say, and really really trying to understand what you're trying to get across. So what I took from that passage is that you don't necessarily have to keep this eye contact for like the whole time, and
Right.
maybe you can take a second and just maybe listen more with your ears, and just really take in the words that the person is saying with their voice and the tone they're taking.
Okay.
And I was wondering what stood out in the following passage for you. It's what we're actually looking at is this other person's voice. Voices may not be visible things, but we're trying to listen to the other person with all of our sense organs.
Well, in that entire paragraph, I found it very interesting how he said that he's looking at other people's voices, which I think is, for someone without autism, it's it's hard to picture that. I mean, looking at somebody else's voice is hard. I mean, we don't we don't think that way necessarily, and I think it's great that he or she is tying this in and actually looking at other voices, or absorbing the information with all their senses rather than just with listening and stuff like that.
Exactly. That it actually fulfills. I think it just makes them understand more better in general, just because they can utilize all of their senses versus just maybe just using just listening. No, maybe using a combination of all of them.
All right, so the next article that we chose is "Why Do You Like Spinning?" Crystal, tell me something about the title. What do you think about the title, and why do you think it was chosen for this passage?
Just the fact that it's like another question. It's like, why, instead of why do you like why not like spinning? Like, doesn't everybody like spinning?
Right.
That's pretty much what I got from this at first. So I figured this passage would be about spinning.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But just maybe we, you know,
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely right. when you say the article is about spinning, it is about spinning. And again, this is another article I think written by a student or a person with autism and how they enjoy spinning, and the simple fact of spinning calms them down or relaxes them. And indeed, what you said was great. I want to ask you a sentence that stood out in this article was, oh, I read the sentence before. Whatever object we spin, this is always true. Unchanging things are comforting, and there's something beautiful about that. What do you think about that?
Just the fact that some people don't like change, and maybe since a child with autism might, there's all of their senses and what's going on inside them, it might be very overwhelming because they have a million things going on at once. So just spinning something kind of takes their attention and makes them focus just on that one thing versus, thinking about all these other things and then having, not being able to control everything in your body. So just the fact that maybe it gives them a chance to just control that one thing and not, and let that be unchanging.
I think
That's
it's
what-
I think it's great. Like and it's a great last sentence to end. So something that's spinning is always rotating, but yet while it's rotating, it's not. It's never gonna. I mean, it is eventually gonna stop rotating, but it's not gonna change.
It has a constant speed,
Mhm.
exactly.
Right. So, and it says there's something beautiful about that. We always look for stability as a person, and I think it's great that this particular student or person with autism finds comfort in that, and just a simple thing, object spinning. I think is a great article. You know.
Great, I totally agree with you. And just a question in there that they mentioned in the passage, like, can you understand what's so much fun about spinning? Like, do you understand? Like, instead of can you understand?
Right.
Because maybe I guess different people have a reaction to that. What do you think? About spinning.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, it's asking us just because when we read the first paragraph, um, it talks about how we like spinning in our chairs, and it asks us what what can we understand, what was so much fun about spinning, and it makes us realize through their eyes what can they find so peaceful or so much fun out of this simple activity.
awesome.
Yeah.